Hello and welcome to Codeweaver Plays Games. So we're going to do some Outer Wilds. And in this case what we're going to be doing, let's just switch right on over to hopefully the working stream. There we go. So I'm gonna play around with some mods. As you can see, one of the mods at least changed the title screen here. I've got two different interplanetary mods or additional planet mods or whatever that I've put into this, and these aren't going to have that much interesting, I don't think, going on the planets, but maybe they will. I don't know. Mostly it's just for visual kicks, but felt like I felt like poking at this a little bit more because I revisited Outer Wilds a couple of days ago, doing a stunt, which you should go take a look at. Yeah. So I've done a new profile, which means unfortunately I have to go through the intro very quickly. It'll take a few minutes. I should have probably done that before the stream, but whatever. We'll take a quick tour through the village. I should, by the way, point out there's going to be way fewer spoilers in this than normal, but if you haven't already played this game, go and get it. It's absolutely fantastic if you like anything story based at all. You do have to do a little flying around in space, but it's not that hard. And you explore areas on planets, and there's a great story. And in fact, the DLC adds a huge pile of additional story. And that's my spoiler warning right now, because I do have to do part of this is kind of spoilery-ish. And I'm not going to dwell on the characters or anything like that. I'm just going to get to the point where I can take off in my spaceship. Which is why you should go play it yourself, because I'm skipping some great lore, some great characters here. So beautiful. Go play it. I'm serious. Do it sight unseen. Do it because everybody who ever plays this game and enjoys it says go play it, and do it without knowing anything about it. Because everything about this game is knowledge. Everything. But today we're just going to explore a couple of mods. Okay. Bypass all of these wonderful characters. Bypass all of the lore. Except for one unavoidable piece of lore. Involving a statue. Quickly popping all the way over, bypassing Hal, bypassing all the fantastic exhibits, giving you a teaser for what you're going to find out there. We just got to talk to Hornfels long enough here to get the launch codes. Yeah. We're not even going to read any of this because it's not really all that... there we go. Not all that important to what we're doing today. Unfortunately, this next bit is, as far as I know, unavoidable. I don't know if we'll be able to avoid it, but I can't. So here we go. You call this the game save mechanic if you like. Manner of speaking, that's true. Yes, thank you. Let me go. Oh, that was slightly weird. A little hiccup might have been because of the mods. I'm not entirely sure, but that's okay. Oh, and there's also this. Yes. We're not going to dwell on this. If you stop and take a look at any of that text, that's on you. And actually, at this point, I'm just going to pop down. Actually, I could have avoided him. That was a bit silly of me. I would suggest not dropping off the cliff when you play through on your own. It's a perfectly serviceable path. I could have avoided that second conversation with Hal. I feel kind of silly. Oh well. So in a sense, from this point on, there are almost no spoilers that can happen because I'm going to places that aren't actually in the original game. So the mods in this question, I do have a free cam mod, so that's there. I was experimenting with VR mods. I was doing a playthrough in VR. I should revisit that, although I think my save file got corrupted. I'll have to see if I can resurrect that. But in this case, the primary thing that we are interested in is that there are planets that have been added by players, by the community. Because this thing has got its own little mod manager, and people have created things. So these are all local planets. There's the local sun. And all of these are story related, but there are now additional stellar bodies nearby, and I don't know which one to investigate first, so I think we'll head for this one since we're sort of pointed in that direction anyway. We're just going to see what the community has to offer. Now, the real planets have all sorts of interesting things on them, lore and buildings and messages, things to look at that are related to the story. These are almost certainly, yeah, all right, we'll check this out. These are almost certainly primarily going to be just whoa, hello. I just flew past something in the dark. And now I can't see it because space is dark. Well, that's weird, but okay. These are just likely to be stellar bodies. But let's see what kinds of stellar bodies users have been able to create. There's a star, obviously. We're going to look at, actually, more to the point, we're going to be looking at planetary bodies. Let's check out dwarf. Now, on the map, we're going to, where are we here? So there's dwarf, there's a couple of other smaller planets and moons. Alright. Well, there's actually more to this than I thought there would be. That's actually really cool. All right, let's go take a look around. Oh my. This might not actually be landable. I thought there was maybe going to be an interior. Oh, this is gonna be a close flyby. Does this even have what might constitute a surface? Can we land on this thing? Well, we're gonna find out. The short answer is no. Calamity appears to be possibly a brown dwarf of some kind. Alright. So that's a thing. Should have guessed by the undulating surface. Here's hoping we load back in without incident. Seem to be, yep, alright. Oh, and there is more lore bits we're going to skip. Go play the game yourself. Now, this game isn't about space travel as such. This game is... because in the primary game, you're really only working with one solar system. So we're going to go over in this direction. That's not what I wanted to do. What I want to do is make sure I get out to the same... That's the one I was after. So it's actually coming past the sun. It's that one over there. There we go. Oh. What are you? There's something in the system that's super teeny. This might be the thing I passed by, actually. Alright, I can dig it. Let's check this out on our way out there. There appears to be more than one thing here, too. Oh. That is not where I want to go. So we're going to... I want to save that one for later, but now I'm in a peculiar position. Reset loop and quit the main menu, yes. I know what that is, and I will address that later, but I want to address that, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Certain echoes of the eye. Resume the expedition, please. That, however, does explain why it was so bloody hard to spot. All right. Yeah, I already got them. All right. What was I saying? This game is not about spaceflight. There is spaceflight to get between the various planets and bodies and blah, blah, blah. But really, this game is about the people of this solar system. And by and large, you can just play the game by... hang on. I get my bearings here. Are there more than one of these? That's interesting. Alright. Oh. Come on. Lots more speed. It's about it's about an ancient people in the game that you investigate, and it's quite a delightful little story. And you can get between the planets more or less by going into the map menu and clicking on somewhere, and once you get into space, using the autopilot, as long as you make sure there's nothing between you and it. And the little bit of space flight that you have to do to take off and land is relatively minor, so anybody bothered by that in a game shouldn't be. Otherwise, you're just walking around. Absolutely delightful. This mod is just about the planetary visuals, though, so... Now we're going way too fast, so what we're going to do is we're going to slide sideways. To pass by it, but also go backwards. Alright. What we're going to do is we're going to effectively autopilot to, it doesn't really matter as long as it's something. Right, so we're going to, no, thank you. Too many games in my head right now. Alright. I've overshot, but that's okay. The reason I'm using the autopilot is just easier for the autopilot to do what I would be doing manually anyway. I do like a good space flight sim. This is not a space flight sim, although it does better than a lot. You don't feel like you're flying around an airplane in soupy space. Proper Newtonian mechanics, this, but that's actually why the autopilot is useful. Because again, not really a space flight game. You just don't shy away from it. Doing a little bit of manual control here, just because I want to edge a little further away from the sun than the autopilot might be naturally making me. Anybody playing the original game knows how easy it is to lock onto something and have it calmly slip behind the sun and your autopilot taking you straight in towards it, which is somewhat less than ideal. What are all those things skimming over the surface of the sun? Okay. There's a lot here to take a look at. A lot. And this is why, oh, no, do not do that, please. This is why, oh my god. Okay, there are asteroids. There are asteroids orbiting really, really close to the sun. Yeah, that's great. I've forgotten all of my orbital mechanics since the last time I landed on the sun station. Yes, I have done that. I've gotten the achievement for it. It's a lot of fun. Way too many hours in Kerbal Space Program prepared me for being able to actually do that in a non-guesswork sort of way. I mean, I didn't do any math or anything. Just fiddled with my orbit, dropping my periapsis down, dropping my apoapsis down, circularizing, waiting for a nice intercept, etc. Something you also don't need to have any knowledge of in order to play this game. Really, you don't. Don't really need it for Kerbal Space Program either, truth be known. Alright, so that's the actual thing I'm going for, but I'm going to do that by shooting past the sun. Incidentally, I could almost get the sun station right here on flyby. I'm not going to, but a little bit of a gravity assist from the sun. More like a redirection than actually getting a boost, but it's fine. Alright. Aiming for the sun itself, I've targeted the sun, so this should actually drop me off some kilometers above the surface, which should be enough for me to then maneuver to a place of interest. Unless I slam into the planet that I'm about to approach here, which would be kind of embarrassing. That is a staggeringly large ball of gas. 36 kilometers away, and it's already pretty big on the screen. This is bad, so we're going to do this. Going sideways a lot. We are just barely going to be able to do this. And because the autopilot doesn't take into account really tight orbits all that well, if you're doing it to an inner body, it's often good to cancel and then immediately re-enable your autopilot for it to get its bearings a little better. All right, so let's do a proper landing on this thing. And we have, in fact, properly landed on this thing. So let's go take a look at what this looks like outside. Oh. Look at this. Now, we are orbiting around this star at a hell of a clip. and the existence of these. Oh look! So the existence of those asteroids zipping past us on a slightly more inner orbit actually gives a hell of a visual as to the way orbits work. Right? They're closer towards a star, so they're orbiting around the star just a little bit faster. Super beautiful. But I think we are in a resonant orbit with not both of these planets. So I think we've been to the other one that's just falling below the horizon there. Interesting. So we are resonant with this one because it's not getting. I don't think it's getting closer. No, actually, it is getting closer. It's just being very, very slow to do so. All right. You know what? Time to visit another body. I do not have a whole lot of audio going on here. Let me see if I can fix that. So what we're going to do... So we're going to use the autopilot to take us here, because it's just a little bit kind of more sensible. Why do I keep getting out because I'm used to a different set of controls where the Q key doesn't do that. That's alright. Now, are you safe to land on? I'm guessing not, but... Nope. No, it is not. It is, in fact, a lava moon, but it is right next to the sun. So, alright, that's the thing. Incidentally, hi viewer. I think I have another viewer on there. Say hi if you like, or don't. That's quite all right. All right, let's go do this again because I want to keep exploring that system, see what ones I can land on and which ones I can't. Now the planets in the basic game all have a lot more stuff to visit, as I said. Caverns and cliff sides and all that. These are likely to be far simpler, but all handcrafted worlds, the base game worlds. Staggeringly lovely. Let's take a different path this time. Let's sort of go up and over the plane of the solar system. Unfortunately means we're going to end up with a vector going that direction after we come by the sun, but that's alright, we'll correct for that. Now, fixing on the background star field, it looks like we are heading a little bit down into the left. So what I'm going to do, get myself aligned to the plane of that solar system and do a little correction. There we go. A bit more correction. What I do want to do is see if I can actually, I won't do this right now, but I want to see if I can actually match orbit with the asteroids and see if they are also molten. Probably are. You do build up quite a nice head of steam getting out this far. Because until you achieve relativistic speeds, and as long as you assume that you don't use a significant amount of your fuel, spend half your time getting there, half your time accelerating towards it, and half your time decelerating. Pretty classic sort of turnaround. Oh, how lovely is this system? So we had Oddity, which I think we've landed on. We've got Serenity, which I don't think we have. And let's actually see if we can't catch up to Calm here. Now, we came around the planet the wrong way, which means that not only do we have to bleed off our motion around the star, but we actually have to go backwards. Bit of a pain. That one has a ring on it. We'll get to that in a moment. Okay. Kill the autopilot and re-engage. Always good when our path straight towards something has been altered. Fly by this. This kind of looks like some of those islands might be landable, which we will check out in a minute. Whoa, why are we getting... That's kind of intense. I don't know what that's about. Are we is it just getting a lot of asteroid activity or something? I'm not sure why we're getting that kind of activity. You know, this is really lovely though. Some sort of particle shower. I'm gonna say it's a particle shower instead of a visual glitch. It's actually got Earth gravity on it, like 1.0 gravity, which is on average, which is a little weird for a body this small, but that's okay. Sizes and distances are seriously skewed in this game because real distances would be pretty hard to swallow. Now I'm gonna have to check to see if there's a mod that actually does the full real solar system, our solar system. That would be kind of interesting. All right, so. It is in fact an ocean planet, so hang on. Still getting that same particle shower. Check this out. The waves on this are quite significant. And we don't die by going underwater, so that's good. Just sort of classic ocean. Kind of like Giant Steep, except a lot more shallow. You know, it'd be really trippy. Here's a mod if somebody wants to attempt to tackle it. It's almost done by way of the Amber Twin and Ash Twin. Again, spoilers. If you haven't played the game, go play the game. What I'd like to see done is Roche World. And there is a Larry Niven story that probably ages me a bit, but such a lovely story. And technically fascinating. Two planetary bodies that share an ocean. At least periodically. And anybody familiar with this game knows that there is... you know what? I'm going to leave that sentence off. So Calm, I'm pretty sure I could land on. It's not super duper interesting. That it's got kind of a funky crater, so I mean that does go to show fact, is that tidally locked? Let's just check this. No, no, we are. It is eventually getting light into that crater, so it's not tidally locked. All right, so let's see if we can't. Oh, we were gonna check out the. I'm gonna do this first. I was gonna check out to see if the ring planet. Do the ring planet first. Uh-oh. Or not. I have changed my mind again. Apparently I'm passing by close enough that I might be able to... Come on. Yes. No. Yeah, it's a little bit like trying to it's a little bit like trying to land on Sun Station, actually. The motion of these things is so fast. Oh. That if you're on the outside of them, there's a small chance you'll just get carried away. Tidal forces and all that. However, if you land on... Well, that doesn't make a lot of sense. The physics of this aren't completely perfect. Okay then. The near sun stuff did never strike me as being particularly physically correct, and of course there's already some leeway taken because of the odd scaling of the solar system. But I could be wrong. Anybody who wants to defend the physics of you jumping around inside the sun station. Or you know, trying to plant your craft at various points along the surface and have it stay there. Feel free to find me on my YouTube channel. Just leave a comment. Or send me a comment on Twitch, I suppose. Alright. I failed. Can I actually swoop over the near limb of the sun? Yes, I have enough thrust at this distance to be able to build up speed. Check out the ring planet. And not get caught up in that nonsense. Alright. Let's go take a look. Does do fairly physically well, though. That is a black hole with a ring around it. But I'm willing to bet this black hole isn't very friendly. I'm going to try dropping into it anyway. No. No, that one is not friendly at all. Alright. Let's go try another planetary system. Alright, so that's the one we were already going to. Let's check out this double star system. It's between Brittle Hollow and Dark Bramble. On our way out of the system. This looks like a double stellar body, a binary star system. Alright, I was gonna fix the audio, wasn't I? Let's see if I can... Now, you might be getting it, and I might not be. That could be the thing, but let's... I think this is mostly my fault. Now, this has at least two bodies orbiting it. So let's see what that's about. Okay, we seriously gotta get into orbit around this yellow star, or the other star is gonna hit us in the face pretty darn quick. So what we're gonna do is, because we're kind of roughly in the plane of this system, not perfectly, but close enough. what we're going to do is we're going to adjust our rotation so that so that everything is flat and we're just basically seem to be going sideways. And then we are going to decelerate. And I'm going to try to hit this little ball of light right there. But I can't lock onto it, so I expect what I'm going to have to do. Yeah. Yeah, I'm heading away too fast. Without being able to see a projection of the path I'm on, it's not completely clear. Yeah, I gotta get quite a ways in. I think, falling back in at this point. All right. What we're going to do is we're going to slow to a stop. I'm going a little bit sideways. It's going to take forever. That's going to take absolutely forever. So we're not going to do that. Wish I could lock onto that body. Yeah, now I'm coming back at it. That's fine. But I gotta dip down. And you'd think I'd be able to, how do I pan the view? Can I lock onto this yet? No. So what the heck is this? Actually stop all motion. Now we're in the plane of the two stars here. I'm beginning to wonder if this is actually a missing planet, because we are passing, it's a little bit below the plane. I'm going to call that a missing planet. So there should be something here, and I'm not seeing it. However, that is definitely a planet. So let's, since I can't seem to lock onto this one. Oh, hello. That is not true. A Prima Maxima probe. All right. Nice. All right. Fair enough. Now we're going to pop over to the other one because it's probably just another probe. Or it's a really tiny moon. It is a really tiny moon. And it looks like a version of the water moon that we saw earlier around the other planet. Although this one, look at this. All right, this one has trees. Let's go take a look. Someone has decided to do a little bit of foliage, although these look a lot like trees from part of the DLC. Still, it's a nice touch to see that they've added more than just ground texture. This one actually has... oh, whoa. Slight problem. This must be rotating fast enough that that there's sideways motion on rocketing upwards. I'm not really seeing a lot of that rotation. All right. Well, I'm glad to see that some of the worlds that people have created, they've added a little bit more than just the surface. Okay. Well, clearly there's one other thing that we need to be able to pull off. We clearly have to sit in between the two stars. That without sort of a description of the orbital path I'm taking is going to be a little tricky. Especially since the gravity is likely to get kind of weird in between the two. Nope. Nope. The problem is that, like, I could pass through the two of them at speed. That wouldn't be that difficult. I'm not going to actually go back there and try that, but that's not too difficult, I don't think. The problem is to sit right in between the two. If I tried to sit still, not orbiting above the surface of our home star, I'd get pulled right down into it. That's why trying to land on the sun station is kind of tricky, because you can't just wait around for it at its height above the star in order to be able to land on the thing. You just get pulled into the sun. And you'd think, okay, well, I don't have powerful enough rocket engines to get to the sun station. But that's not true. All you have to do is, be going sideways fast enough that you're in orbit. That's literally what orbiting is. It's throwing yourself at the ground and missing. In this case, throwing yourself at a star and missing. Props to Douglas Adams. And so, yeah, the gravity is just too intense right down where the sun station is to just sit above the surface. But you can't orbit above the surface just fine. In fact, you can orbit tighter to the sun than the sun station currently is. Totally doable. Nothing even remotely wrong with that. Hang on, I'm going to find the other system that I want to visit, which is... I've been to that one. I've been to that one. It's time to go to this one. And we'll just lock on, hit the autopilot, and there it is. Alright, away we go. You can orbit quite tight to the star, and there's no big deal. Now, in that case, I wasn't trying to orbit the stars. That really wasn't the point. Now, the thing is, though, between the two stars, there is going to be a point of zero gravity. In fact, there's going to be a path through there that has, between the two, in the plane of the stars, that has zero gravity, because each side is pulling on me effectively equally. And I'm so small, I'm basically just a tiny dot. I'm a grain of dust. The problem is if I get even slightly off that path, all of a sudden the gravity towards the star closer to starts ramping up really, really fast, and I'm back to the same problem as back at my home star. And so I'm sure you could probably find a spot in there. I'm not going to try to do that on stream because I don't really have any good measurement equipment. What I would have to... I might be able to do it by working out roughly how far apart the surfaces are. I don't know how I'd do that. I have to think about that. And then use my measurement, like you're seeing here, the distance to one of the stars, in order to be able to sit right in between the two. And it'd be interesting to see if the gravity that they've simulated between the two bodies actually works. There's no guarantee of that. They did a really good job on the physics between your spaceship and the bodies that you interact with. But nowhere in the original game did they necessarily have two stars doing that. Now, hopefully they did a general solution. That would be just cool, but... Alright, let's pop down on Dunbar. But I have no proof of that, so... Be interesting to see if there is a spot you could sit there for at least a short time. Is that, again, you slide off it even slightly and the gravity starts ramping up. And there's not like there's a glowing beacon along the line that you actually have to sit on. It's invisible, and you basically would have to do it by math, which you don't obviously have access to. That hurt. That was the wrong button to press. Alright, I'm on the surface. Umbra itself doesn't look all that interesting, but it does have a lovely view. I'm noticing, incidentally, and I'll repair my ship while I'm out here, I'm noticing that actually all these worlds have, or so far the ones that I've been looking at the number for, when I've had the presence of mind to do it, all have 1.0 gravity. And I guess that's for the convenience of walking around. Kind of wish some of these guys had assigned different gravity values to their planets, though. Good lord, where's the honking great star? I was literally eclipsing the star. Yeah, this is an Ember Twin situation. I do not want to use an autopilot and fly straight into the sun. Oh, this is going to be nice. Get a ring planet here, but let's go for... I'm going to be coming in too hot on this. Oh, maybe not. Wow, you are orbiting at a huge clip. You're actually more interesting, and you're tidal locked too. Whoa! I am having a serious moment here. Everything is rotating so quickly. Hey, come on, come on, come on. Let's just go right here. Hold it down. Pin me down. That should be good. Close enough. So this body is tidally locked to its parent body, which means one side is constantly facing. The planet it's the moon it's orbiting. So this is a little asteroid or a mini moon orbiting a... Is this considered... I guess this is technically a planet. So it's a moon. What I'm on is a moon. That is technically a planet. The problem is the other planets are so close because of the way they did the system scaling. That sometimes the nearby planets look like moons or vice versa. That is really pretty. And check this out, like a full solar eclipse. That's nice. Oh, that is just beautiful. Do a high-speed flyby of this planet, which I won't worry about landing on because we got a good eyeful. You know, we're not actually going to, oh god, I keep doing that. We're not going to go for Demiurge directly, we're going to go for Homeworld. Because I can't land on a gas giant anyway. That is really lovely. I always thought it would be really awesome to be able to take a spacecraft and go hang out hovering just above the rings. Now, of course, you couldn't actually do that. You could orbit the planet at the same height of the rings, and to be above it... Okay, we got the... clear, we got the plant life here. You could orbit at the same height and speed as the rings, but then every so often you dip down into it, and a couple of... like, I think it's Saturn's or Jupiter's moons, probably both now, I come to think of it, do exactly that. Oh, that is so beautiful. I'm gonna get outside to take a look at this. A little weird that this moon has this inclined orbit, but that's totally fine. Gives us a better view of the rings anyway. Anyway, if you're floating right above the rings of Saturn, for example, you'd have to be orbiting sideways, so you didn't fall straight into the planet. And you would oscillate up and down through the rings, no matter how flat you tried to make it in order to be able to do that. at least in terms of Jupiter, if I recall, is it Jupiter or Saturn? One of them has rings that are so dusty that you wouldn't actually see the rings probably right in your vicinity, any more than you see, a cloud that's right in front of you. You tend to see it like, ways in front of you as the accumulation of particles reflects enough light for your eyes to see it. Oh. Know what that was. Anyway, so you'd actually probably end up seeing very little in your immediate vicinity unless a larger body happened to occlude a star. But a short distance away from you, it started getting brighter and brighter, and it'd be these roads of dusty light stretching out before you. That's the way I imagine it anyway. I should actually pull up some of the Cassini probe images. The problem is a lot of the pictures we have of Saturn and Jupiter are from enough of a distance that what I said just doesn't apply, because you don't actually have the camera right on the rings. But I am not a space guru. I'd passing fancy with a lot of the stuff when I was younger. I guess I still do, but so let's go to Google Images, which I've got going on my laptop that you can't see. And I'm going to say pictures. What can you say? Close pictures of Saturn's rings. There are some beautiful, beautiful shots. I think Jupiter is the one with the dustier rings. Can we actually Google passing through Saturn's rings? Man, there are some beautiful images. Some of which, sadly, are not photographs and are artists' renditions, but still. Cassini. Interesting tidbit that showed up in my Google description when I gave it Cassini passing through Saturn's rings. Data from the Cassini space probe indicates that the rings of Saturn possess their own atmosphere independent of the planet itself. The atmosphere is composed of molecular oxygen gas produced when ultraviolet light from the sun interacts with water ice in the rings. Neat. So I gather Cassini actually did fly through the rings quite a few times. Why don't I already know that? Maybe I did and I've just forgotten. We need to see if I can find an image of that Cassini took as it was closest to passing through the plane of the rings, like closest to actually passing through the rings. I'll have to look that up, which you can too, and I encourage you to do so, because a lot of the beauty of this game is inspired by real life, just because it's inspired by space. Okay, purple gem. So that's the innermost, and there's red geode, and we've been on Umbra. Oh, are we going to be able to catch up to it before we go smashing into the sun? This is bad. Several things about this are bad. Okay, then. Well, I won't worry about going back to Purple Gem. The last thing I'm going to do is there is an anomaly that's floating out there in space, and I want to go and check that out. And that'll be the last thing I do for this stream, and then I'm going to go on to a different game. I haven't decided what I want it to be yet. I kind of have an interest in going back into Fallout. So I've been doing a Fallout 4 sort of story playthrough with some slightly unusual characters. Alright, so what we're going to do... There is an anomaly somewhere out here, but I'm going to be hard-pressed to actually find it. I lied. There it is. All right. That's not what I thought it was. That's a legitimately bad place to go. I think what I'm actually after, though, is that thing. Because I don't think that's the quantum moon. Well, it might have been. But apparently, one of my mods suggests, because it's a planetary mod, that there's some interesting anomaly other than, obviously, the story-based one that is nearby a giant steep. So let's go take a look. We're just gonna orbit this until we can spot something. Hopefully it'll be somewhat quick. There. I like the name Hornfels object. That's great. Now this looks like what we just flew into. Different object. This shouldn't kill me. I guess it did. I'm getting different audio though. Hopefully this loads up to somewhere useful because okay, we're letting this spin for a few seconds. For those of you curious where this was supposed to end up, and I was hoping this would be a little bit more instantaneous than it's turning out to be. Like, this could have actually legitimately crashed me. This was supposed to be sort of an homage to, or a somewhat of a replication of the incident from Interstellar. What I will do is I will give this thing, let's say, another minute just to see if it ends up going where it's supposed to be going, and if it doesn't, I should be able to get there the long way. Maybe there's an incompatibility between me having this loaded and the other planets loaded. And we're waiting. Yeah, okay, that's too long. All right, so we have clearly hit a situation where Outer Wilds needs to be killed, and we're gonna reload it. I'm gonna try to get there the long way. So I would expect that it's probably just an incompatibility with other mods I've got loaded. Fortunately, they didn't do this particular mod in a way where the destination is... I don't think they did it in a way where the destination is unreachable the long way. So, we're just going to relaunch the thing. Oh. Probably can't launch it that way. That may not work. That launched the wrong thing anyway. Let's try this again. Where is my Outer Wilds mod manager? There it is. Hit the start game button. Yeah, that's fine. Resume the expedition, please. Alright, let's see if we can find this thing the long way around. Because on the other side of the... I guess... slight spoilers for the movie. Interstellar. If you haven't already seen it. The things that they found on the other side of the... wormhole. Would have had some visual appeal, but the trick here is that I gotta find it the hard way. There, I think that's it. Would have been quite lovely. So let's see what the creators of this homage to that film have done. Let's see if there's even a... yeah, it's way the heck out here. Oh, that's kind of funky. Can I lock on to any of these? No. Alright, so that makes life a little more complicated. Actually, I guess because we're heading away from the sun, at this point we can use this as a measure of how fast we're approaching the target. Not going to be enough. That is not getting particularly big, particularly fast, so we're going to have to book it a little harder. However, it is now sliding off of my reticle, which means that we do have some sideways motion going here. This is going to take a bit of time. Problem is, we have a lot of speed to bleed off. Oh god, okay. Can't lock on to any of these. That's a big problem. That's kind of funky. Not gonna lie. There we go. It stopped relative to it, so that's fine. So let's see if any of these things is something that I can actually touch down on. I think that is the exit point for the black hole that I was supposed to come out of. Because I can't lock on, it's going to be a little harder for me to... No, I can lock onto this one. The library, it says. an homage, perhaps, to the library from the film. Can land on it. That's pretty enough, I suppose. Like I love the homage. The planets themselves need a little bit more detail. However, what I want to see actually is if this is actually solid. This is actually not a very gravitationally heavy star. Like, what is the gravity here? Like 3.2. That's not crazy town. Oh, except that's a problem. So only 3.2 gravities on the surface, but the surface is super slippery, except apparently from my ship. But maybe it got one of its legs over one of those bars, and so it was sort of stable, hooked over, as it were, like a coat hanger. All right. Well, we visited all the places that I wanted to visit. This was just a tour of some of the planets created by the community. Modders for Outer Wilds have been exploring adding new planets for a little while now, but there's actually a bit of an infrastructure for it. Nothing like the planets, as detailed as the planets that were actually created for the game, but that's not necessarily surprising. One of my favorite mods for this game it still continues to be the VR mod that they created for this, and most of the time, even games that are 3D walkarounds like this do not translate well to VR at all. And the mod creator for the Nomai VR mod did a really, really good job, given that they didn't have access to the original source and so on and so forth. They actually stitched it in a way that was plausible. It's by no means perfect, but the game is playable, and it's absolutely a delight to wander around the solar system in VR mode, even if your only intent is to go to a few places and look around and experience that as if you're standing there. And I will probably do that again in a stream at some point. Anyway, that's it for me. This is Codeweaver Plays Games, and I'm going to be back in a little bit with a different game. Not sure which one yet, but stay tuned.